Hi YouTube, my name is Brett Marnell, and I'm going to be telling you guys about my life over the next few months. I don't know, however long it takes me to kind of tell my life story. Um, I'm going to warn you now that a lot of my life, there's going to be a lot of events that I talk about that are really, really bad events in my life that, you know, some people might not want to listen to. Definitely not for the younger people to listen to and watch, but I think everyone can kind of take something away from it, like learn something from it. I'm hoping. So what I want to do is start making a series about my life and talking about basically when I started or when I was a child till now or till whenever uh, things start to go normal, I guess, or I start to have less of an eventful life. But so I'm 20 years old. I'm from Duluth, Minnesota. I've lived here my whole life. Um, I've moved away a couple times, but like for maybe a month at a time, and never more than I think it was 3 times I moved away from the city. So I've fairly been in the city most of my life. I was born January 10th, 1998, and the where I remember like my very beginning, like the earliest I can remember, I lived at this house on 9th Street. It's uh, further out east in Duluth than where I live now. I live in the West End, but it's just more out east. And I grew up in this little duplex that was it was like a side by side duplex, so it wasn't like the one apartment on top of the other. It was the side by side, and I lived there with my mom. Uh, my dad was there for a little bit, like I want to say when I was four, no, like three and a half. I was introduced to him the first time, but I don't remember any of that. I've seen pictures, but yeah. So I mostly was with my mom at the time. My dad was in prison when I was born, and I didn't get to meet him till like three and a half or two around there. And from the stories that my mom told me, I wasn't a big fan of him. Like when he would like kiss my mom or something, like I would throw stuff at him or make mean faces, attack him, stuff like that. Like I was very protective of my mom as a little kid, and because he was the first like male person to really be in my life at all. So it was kind of like weird to me. I'm assuming. I mean, I don't really remember this too much, but I remember little bits and pieces. But being that young, he was the first person to be like a male in my life, and since I was so used to my mom being around, like I didn't take to him very well right away. Um, so yeah, like I said, with like the kissing stuff, like I attack him and throw stuff at him and make faces at him, do pretty much whatever I could to show him that I didn't like him, and uh, so from there, my dad was someone who drank a lot. Like he, even to this day, he still drinks like alcoholic amounts of beer. He's quit several times, but when I was younger, he got kicked out of living with us because after he got out of prison, he moved in with us and he tried to be a part of my life. He tried to, be the dad in my life, and I didn't really take to him, and he started drinking a lot again. He was drunk all the time at this house on 9th Street, and he eventually, like, he'd watch me, like, when my mom was working or something. He'd be watching me, and he'd just be plastered, like, drunk to the point of, like, falling off the couch. And my mom caught him one day just trashed. Like he left to go like hang out with a friend or something like that. But he left while babysitting me I think I was either asleep or I was watching TV in the living room, and he left to go hang out with a friend, and my mom freaked out on him and kicked him out, and I don't know where he went from there. I think he met this girl Brenda at the time, but all I know is that he didn't come around anymore. He stopped showing up and stuff. I didn't see him hardly ever at the time after that incident had happened, and my mom started cycling through hiring babysitters to watch me, so she could go to work and everything and be able to afford the place and all that. So this one guy started watching me. I don't really remember him, like, hardly at all, but I remember what he looked like. And what ended up happening was he watched me, I believe, for about a month or so, and he was really mean to me. He didn't do anything that my mom was telling him to do. The day that like really sticks in my mind, like is a memory that I can remember a lot with this situation, was that the last time he watched me, my mom, she was getting up to go to work, and my mom told him in front of me, said, "Hey, just turn the TV on. He'll sit in front of the TV, and he'll be just fine. He's gonna, focus on his shows." So, she turned on some like Sesame Street or something, and I sat and watched it. Well, the second my mom walked out the door, he turned off the TV. And I freaked out. I was, a little kid. I freaked out. I was like, why? Why turn the TV back on? Turn the TV. And he like got up and came towards me, and I ran out the door. And when I got outside, he ended up catching up to me, and he came up behind me and grabbed me by my hair and picked me up. And what he didn't see was that my mom was still sitting in the driveway in her car, starting it up to go to work. And she got out of the car and fucking opened the door, got out, and was like, "Get your fucking hands off my child." And he dropped me like instantly and went back inside the house. And she said I could play outside for a little bit, so I sat out back and played around, and I could hear shit just fucking going off in there. Like, she was screaming, cussing this guy out, freaking out on this guy for doing that. And she asked me, what happened? And I told her, I said, he turned the TV off. He turned the TV off. And she, goes back in there, and she's like, "What the fuck did you do? Why'd you turn the TV off?" And then she also, brought up, like, picking me up by my hair and all that. And I never seen him again. I had never seen him until later on in my life. There's another event that happened with the same guy that is really serious, and I'm contemplating talking about it at all because it's of such serious nature. But I don't know. I'll contemplate on talking about it in the next video. But yeah, so that was all I really remember from. Hold on a second. Just need to light my cigarette. That's all I really remember from like that time period and living at that house at the time. We moved out. We bounced around from like a motel to another duplex for a little while. I don't know why we moved from that one, but we moved to one that was on 40th or 38th Avenue West, which is more, like I said, 38th Avenue West. It's more out west, and that's where I spent most of my childhood, like 99%, or not 99, maybe 50% of my childhood was spent in this home on 38th. And it was another duplex, except this time it was one on top of the other, and we had the top duplex. There was a lot of events that had occurred afterwards. In my next video, I'm going to talk about meeting my friends that live there. I'm going to talk more about, basically moving on, what's next in this story. But I hope you guys like this first little part of the story. This is just the beginning. This is what I remember from the very beginning, the very start. These are my earliest memories that I can remember. So we'll talk about more in the next video. But thank you guys for watching. My name is Brett. I hope you guys enjoyed.